What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Good Enough Garage. It's very hot out today. I don't know if you can see how much I'm sweating. I've been wearing the jacket because drivers around here have been kind of crazy recently. But yeah, today we have another, I guess this will probably be like the second bike in my starter bike series, which I wanted to do is just like kind of cheap beginner bikes. And today's is a 2023 Honda Rebel 500. Now, if I'm not mistaken, from what I kind of briefly saw, is they made these in 300, 500, and I think 1100. This one, obviously, like I said, is a 500. The only aftermarket thing that is on it is this Vance and Hines exhaust. Other than that, it's pretty much stock. This one is the ABS version, and let me get my notes real quick. From what I saw, I think the ABS was 60. The pricing start out like base for 6,500. You can get a base model with no ABS. This one, which is ABS, is right at $6,800 MSRP, and then for the ABS SE model, it is right at 7,000. Still isn't bad. From what I saw the pictures, the ABS SE only comes in black and has, instead of just a normal headlight, it seems to have like a little cowl piece or something that comes over it. And then I've seen probably just maybe suspension stuff, and other than that, let's see, what are some other details? This one does have a 6-speed transmission, which I really enjoy. It's got disc brakes all around. It's liquid cooled, as I think most bikes are for the most part nowadays. This one is in a, you probably can't really see it, but in a really nice candy blue color is what Honda calls it. And has, I believe, 46 horsepower with 32 foot-pounds of torque. The seat height is at 27 inches, and I'll set this down and we'll get like an ergonomics look at it for you. Set this down. There you go. This one is kind of different than like the Harley style. They're kind of like more or less just almost like if you were just sitting down normally. Handlebars in a really good position. You kind of sit just more straight up. And I rode this a few miles to come here to do the intro, and it is honestly really comfortable. The seat is, so I mean, I'm sure once I get going and do the 30-minute ride test, it will kind of show, as most of the other bikes have done it. This does weigh 421 pounds wet. I think that might be the lightest bike that I've rode. I don't know about the DRZ that I did last week, but the DRZ was the start of the beginner bike series. This one we followed up. I don't know if I want the 300. I feel like this power right here isn't bad. The 500 honestly seems to be like a good middle ground, and the pricing really can't beat it. I haven't looked at used prices yet. I'll do that and go over that at the end of the video and see how it is. But really don't think there's much else to it. I'll get a little exhaust clip for you here, and then we'll just jump straight into the riding portion. Yeah, so see you there. All right, guys, we're going to do the riding portion, and I'll give just kind of one final little walk around of the bike really quickly. Let me get my backpack on. And like the title says, and like I said in the beginning, This is a 2023 Honda Rebel 500 in the beautiful candy blue. Honestly, love the way this bike looks. And it does have, I don't think I mentioned it, it has a 2.9 gallon tank, so almost 3 gallons. And it is, I think, advertised like 67 miles per gallon. So not too terribly bad. Way better than the Harley, I believe, which was like 2.1 gallons and had like 44 miles per gallon. And now let's see if it is better on the riding portion. One thing I will say that I so far don't like about it is like how I back up. You can see where like the pegs are hitting my legs. You got to kind of go wider, and I just feel like I look awkward doing it. That's so far like the first gripe that I've seen. And then the clutch also, like, I don't know, you see how right there is where it starts grabbing. I like mine to grab a little sooner, but I think that you can also adjust that out on these bikes. But this is the second bike in my, what I guess I'll categorize it as the beginner bike series. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to release them like one right after the other, so it'll probably just be as I can get a hold of the bikes. Did last week's first one was the DRZ 400 SM, and this will be the second one. And I think I have access to another new bike that is would be considered a beginner bike. And so I'll do that one, and then if I can somehow get in like a MT-03 or R3 or something like that, I think that would be kind of categorized as like a more beginner bike. But so far it'll be the kind of 3 different style bikes, so you can kind of pick and choose what you'd want. I personally started on a Ninja 400, and I'd probably give that bike, without riding another one, probably like a B. It was pretty good on gas and was fun to ride. That's a pretty cool looking Challenger. It was a pretty fun bike, but after about 30 minutes, your butt would start to go numb, your hand would kind of vibrate numb, and had its little small issues, but it's also just a 400 sport bike. So I wouldn't mind even trying the bike I was actually gonna originally get, a CBR 500R, and see how that is, or like a Ninja 500. But all in due time. But today we're riding the Rebel 500, and I guess this will be a closer comparison to the Harley Sportster that I rode, the Sportster 48, which is a 1200, versus this one, which is a 500. But they're kind of styled the same and whatnot. Bigger difference is obviously one's made by Harley, this one's made by Honda. So one's a 1200, this one's a 500. And also the price. Or you could get like a used Sportster used for like $700 or $800, or not $700 or $800, $7,000 or $8,000. You could buy one of these brand new for less than that, and you may even enjoy it more. Like I showed with the ergonomics, it is pretty comfortable. I like where the handlebar positioning is. You're not like way up here like you were with the ape hangers, which, like I said, I'd like to try like a stock Sportster to see how the handlebars are and the seating position are. I also really enjoy the digital display rather than analog. And it has pretty good pickup. And even being for a Honda, the bike doesn't sound bad at all. The exhaust really adds a throatiness to it, in my opinion. One thing I do notice, which I don't know if there's a cover down there, but I don't know if that is to protect you from the heat, but like your leg does have a tendency to touch the motor down there, the case. But there is a cover, so I don't know if that's there to block heat out. But I'm wearing pants, so I couldn't really tell. But I do notice that your leg does touch it. But at the end of the video, I'll inspect it to see if it's hot, because that could affect like the riding, the how I would score it. Because sometimes it is kind of too hot to ride in pants, especially in Georgia, and you want to ride in shorts. Like I've done it before. And if you're riding this with shorts, if that cover does get hot, I could see you being quite upset if your leg touches it. And one thing so far that I've noticed on this one, and I didn't know, but I guess it's almost every Harley, because my parents' bikes have aftermarket grips, I guess, on there. But these grips are, they have more of like a rubber cushioning, padding, whatever. It's got rubber on there, and it doesn't seem like it vibrates your hands. But like I noticed on all Harleys, they have like they feel almost like plastic on their handlebars. And the last time I rode the Sportster, my hand started hurting by the time I was returning the bike. And I was like, dang, I never thought that my hands would actually just hurt. Someone's cruising around in a Corvair. Handles corners really well. At least it handles the corner as the way I was taking it. I don't want to push the bike too far and end up wrecking someone else's bike. One of the, I guess, little peeves that I've kind of come to, I gotta pick on the bike, which isn't really like anything that I would just be like, oh, don't buy the bike because of it. But the blinker, like I can turn it on, and then if I like think I press the button in, sometimes it won't turn off the blinker. But that's just me. The seat honestly is comfortable, kind of holds you. Like, I don't feel like I'm gonna slide out of the seat like on the Harley. And that was one thing that I kind of hated about the Harley, is after a while my butt did start to hurt. Not really like go numb like any of the other bikes, but it actually started to hurt where I had to stand up to relieve the pain. But this one's got like a little metal brace on the back of the seat that kind of holds you if like you were to slide back or anything like that. And this bike is like light. Light enough to just kind of whip around like you want. Not heavy at all. Like I said, 421 pounds wet weight. And the clearance on this, I don't know the exact clearance. I will put it on the bottom once I figure it out. I wasn't able to see it whenever I was doing the quick research, but it sits higher than the Harley Davidson that I rode. So you can actually, it seems like you can kind of like lean on the bike more. I don't know what kind of accessories they make for the bike, if they make anything like a saddlebag or anything for this bike. I feel like if they do, then this is a bike that I could see like going on longer trips with, to be honest. The mile per gallon is there. It's got you almost 3 gallons. That's right at, even if you do go to the lowest, and the 67 miles per gallon is what it gets. Right there you got about 130, almost 140 miles. And if it does have, say, 3 gallons, and you do have over 140 miles to go, that's comparable to like my Z900 with like a, I think it has like a 4.5 or 3.5 gallon tank. And it can go about that many miles. See, if no one goes where we're going, then I may give that car some space, but I'll give it a go and see what the what kind of pep it has. But with the seat height, I think if you're a shorter guy, like I'm 5'11", so like I can flat foot it no issue. I think this would be a pretty good bike. Since he's turning, we'll do another, and we'll do we'll stop a stop and go. Yeah, I don't think it would be faster than a Harley, which I mean I would hope not, because 500 compared to a 1000cc 1200cc bike. But I honestly don't think this would be bad riding on the interstate. Like, I was in about 4th or 5th gear there, going about almost 80, and it really didn't matter. Like, you could cruise at 75 and be fine. I'm not really sure how the suspension will take bumps or anything. Well, I know that on this route there's a decent amount of bumps, so we can kind of see how it goes there. But my hands feel fine. They're not, it's not vibrating a lot or anything like that. I do kind of wish this one had a tach. I kind of prefer my bikes with tachs, so I can just kind of see what the RPM is at. But we work with what we got. Not really a slouch going uphill, even carrying me. I think the power, the throttle response and all of that is pretty solid. I think if you can kind of get used to the clutch, which maybe as a beginner bike, that you would kind of want the clutch to release further out. That way you're not kind of like, as soon as you let it go, you may let it go out like a little too quick and just kind of stall it out or anything like that. This kind of gives you the chance to kind of play around with it. So I kept reading that it had like a slipper assist clutch. So maybe that may be just to help with letting off. Some of these potholes, yeah, it ate those really well. I'll say it's probably not as good as the CB 360 with taking the bumps, but honestly, it's not bad. Like I could feel them a little bit, but not nearly as bad as like my Kawasaki, where it'd be like kind of a jolt. Or even I think on the Harley, it didn't take the bumps too terribly great. That one was probably the worst bump. Now you can kind of feel it, but like I rode this road last night on my bike, and I think I hit that exact same bump. And it was pretty bad. But I guess this is also what a touring bike's supposed to do, is just kind of be more of a, not touring, a cruising bike. So to just take bumps at a solid, I guess, way. One where you're not dreading it. I guess if I had to gripe about something as well, it would be probably the brakes. The brakes don't feel super grabby. They slow you down, but I kind of feel like I have to use a lot of the like more front brake than I kind of normally do whenever I ride a bike. Oh, didn't let other clips pass me out. This is probably one of the comfier stock seats I've been on. I think it probably could benefit with like maybe like a gel pad or something as well on here, especially if you're going on longer rides. But the seat's honestly not bad at all. There's where the bad bumps are, let's see. None of that was really that bad. Nothing really jarred me or anything like that, like hurt my back. You just kind of bounce with it. I'd kind of much rather do that than get on the bike, hit a bump, and be shorter because of it. I just looked down and realized I was in 5th gear. It doesn't even really feel like I'm in 5th. I thought I was in 6th, honestly. It just handled, like, the gearing on this bike, despite being 6-speed, I feel like it's honestly pretty perfect. Like, you can shift into 6, kind of cruise around at 50, and still be relatively quiet from the exhaust, which, I mean, obviously you can get on it if you wanted to. I don't know if you can see that, but that blue color in the sun looks amazing. I think they only came in this color blue, black, and I think gray or like a silver. I think you made the right choice getting this color. And the more I kind of feel this cover down here on my leg, the more I think it is just a heat shield. So if your leg does touch it, you're fine. Because my leg has kind of been resting on it, and it hasn't got hot or anything where like I'm like, ah, shit, can't get my leg off of it. But So despite it being like a minor kind of inconvenience of my leg just touching it, it doesn't burn me or anything, so. I wouldn't say that it's like a big con to the bike or anything. I think if you're looking to get like a Harley-esque bike for under even $8 grand, which once I give my final thoughts, I'll talk about the used prices of these, see if it's worth going new or used. But if you're looking for like a just daily commuter, but you don't really feel like spending the money on a Harley, and then you get like the downsides of them having small tanks or anything like that, I feel like this would be more in line with the Sportster line of bikes. Maybe with their soft tail stuff or something. But I would definitely say I would recommend one of these. This was the owner's second bike. He had an R3 or his, I guess, technically third bike. He had a Grom to learn with, then got an R3, and then got this bike, which I think is a perfect like cruising bike. There would be some stuff that I see if they had racks or anything that you could carry stuff in. I think that would kind of set the bike up perfectly for if you were like the daily commute, or I don't know, you wanted to ride like a longer way to go camp or something like that, or spend the day to go do something. Then this bike could definitely do that. As I think probably on a tank of gas you could ride to like an hour or so away and be fine to come back. Which even if you had to fill it up, 2 gallons, almost 3 gallons, is like $12 to $15 depending on where you live. This would be comparable like to the Kawasaki like Vulcan series. I'd really like to test one of those and see kind of would be better. I know when we go to barbers, I will probably try the I think they had the SV, which is sort of like these bikes, more cruiser style bike. So if I have time, I'll definitely try to do that. I guess another detail I don't think I mentioned yet. These were produced from 2017 until I think they're still being produced. So they're relatively recent bikes. The more recent ones came with the LED light, like this one, LED headlight. And I think that's really about the only thing they've really changed from what I've seen and read. Yeah, we are approaching the end of the riding section, and as you can, if you can see off in the distance, clouds are getting pretty bad, so I'd say we got done just in time. I'm gonna go and film the outro here in a second, and hopefully not get rained on. We've been lucky enough for some of those. The Yamaha video that unfortunately is getting delayed, that that one I got rained on right at the end of the video. Ooh, there's people there. Let's just go, we'll just go in this back corner. But yeah, that'll do it for the riding portion, and I will hop on over and do my final thoughts. And do I really think that this is a good choice over, let's say, a Harley or anything like that? But yeah, let's get over to the review portion and wrap this video up. Alright, welcome to the review or final thoughts portion of the video. Dang, people are driving crazy around the parking lot. Not really sitting down because there's a lot of people over there where I normally sit that are practicing softball and all that. But kind of wanted to, I went over this in the riding portion, but this thing right here, I was kind of curious because like it's right by the foot pegs and leg kept touching it, but like I'd been riding this and it's just warm, so it may be a little bit of an inconvenience to have your leg right there, or like it touching your leg, but it's not gonna burn you. So that was one thing I was like, I'm not sure how I'd feel about it, but yeah, it's actually perfectly fine. Like I literally just got off from riding around for about half an hour and not even burning my hand whatsoever. Which I didn't look at the, let me look up real quick while I discuss some of this other stuff. But yeah, I had done, I talked about like, is this a good beginner bike? And at the price point, like starting at around $6,200, you can get them for, you can get a brand new for like $62 to right at $7,000. And just a quick look online, you can pick these up for seemingly like three to like a max of 5,000 for a used one. Maybe go up a little higher depending on some other stuff. But honestly, this bike rode really great. My butt doesn't hurt or anything like that. Probably the most comfortable stock seat I've been on. The handlebars felt great. Like I said in the riding portion, these have like some rubber, so they do have like a little bit of give to them. And they honestly felt really great. The Harley, my hand started hurting after a while. I didn't like it. The seat was becoming very uncomfortable. Probably the only thing that I have to gripe about would be the pegs. Just when you're trying to back up or like walk around with it, they kind of hit your legs. At least that's just for me. It was annoying. I can get around it. But yeah, overall, I'd have to give this bike comfort-wise probably an A. So another Honda bike getting an A in that, and cost-wise, comparable to like the Suzuki, where you're gonna pay maybe $2K more for a new one, but nothing's changed with them. If you like the coloring and all that on this bike with the LED then you can maybe justify spending the 6,000 or so. But you, like I said, you can also find them for 3 to 5 to 6 for used, which isn't bad. Like I saw several for between like 3,000 was the lowest, and like 45 or 4,600 for a used one. Also depends on year, obviously. But like I said, this one has the LED light, which I'm sure you could probably swap over to the older models as well. I don't really know what the older models had as far as like dashes, if they were digital or analog or whatnot. But yeah, overall, I think if you want like a cruiser, this would, in my opinion, blow the Sportster just out of the water. Price wise, it beats it. You could buy a new one for cheaper than what you could buy a used Harley 48 for. It's kind of crazy. You're probably more comfortable on this as well. A bigger tank, more fuel mileage. You may just lose out on speed, but I don't know who's really buying a Harley for speed, to be honest. And the bike just looked great. The copper or the bronze wheels with this blue just looks so good. So I really don't think you can lose out on this if you're a beginner, or even if you just want like a cheaper cruiser and don't know what to go with. I would probably say the Honda Rebel 500. The weight's not bad. Like I said, you flat foot it, so it's got a 27-inch seat height. So if you're shorter, like I said, I'm 5'11", so I can flat foot it fine. But if you're shorter, then this may be the bike for you. Got good ground clearance, handles corners pretty well. I didn't really like get too far over. Now I will say two things that would probably, if you have someone that rides with you, then maybe not the best, because I think this is just, I don't know if they make a seat that comes back here for another person, and also if they made saddlebags or something to go down here, that would also just kind of put it over the top, in my opinion. But as far as like if you're like in the city, or maybe just want something that's fun to ride, not gonna break the bank or anything like that, I think this is the bike for you. And yeah, overall, A in comfort, price wise, A as well. There's just, it's kind of hard to beat a cheap bike like this. And it's Honda, so it's reliable. You know, you're not really gonna have any issues with it. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, comment what you would like to see below. And yeah, stay safe. Make sure you watch out for bikers. And remember that you are good enough. See you guys later.